Today on The Rebel Rebel, I'm joined by Heather Thorkelson, a Canadian nomad turned polar expedition leader who's building the future of sustainable Arctic travel. From penguins and postcards to skydiving mishaps and jellyfish orbs, we cover it all. Welcome to The Rebel Rebel.
This episode of The Rebel Rebel is brought to you by my book, Brand Jitsu. Most brands blend in. They don't mean to, but they do. After 25 years of helping people fix that, I wrote the playbook. It's called Brand Jitsu, Move Your Brand from Meh to Memorable. It'll show you how to shape your story so it hits and sticks. Grab a copy at your favorite bookstore or head to brandjitsu.com.
Well, welcome to The Rebel Rebel. I'm your host, Michael Dargie, and somewhere on the other side of the planet, please welcome to the show, Heather Thorkelson. Heather, how the heck are you?
I am great, Michael, and I'm excited to be here.
Oh, I'm so excited for you to be here. I've been waiting for this conversation ever since I learned about you. So this is so much fun for me,
Nice.
and hopefully it'll be for you as well.
Yeah.
Where are you in the world right now?
I am in Sweden. I live just near Gothenburg, which is on the west coast of Sweden, kind of equidistant between the border of Norway and Denmark, which means I can drive 3 hours in either direction and end up in a different country, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that is so cool. Do you take advantage of that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm actually on Friday, I'm taking the train 3 hours south to Copenhagen to go see a Queens of the Stone Age concert. So
shut the front door.
Pretty cool.
Oh my God, you're living the dream. What the hell? Okay, why? Okay, before we go any further, why Sweden?
I fell in love.
Huh.
You know, the age-old story. I fell in love with someone. I moved here. Well, I was living in Peru at the time. I'm kind of one of those people that is a bit of a nomad, and fell in love, moved here, married, mostly so that they wouldn't keep kicking me out after 90 days because of the Schengen rules, you know, and then ended up staying here, ended up divorcing, and now I stayed here. So I've been here for 10 years now.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I've never been. It's been on my list. Yeah.
It's very similar to Canada. So lots and lots of similarities to different parts of Canada.
That's cool. You came from Canada originally, right?
I am Canadian. I'm from a little wee town south of Vancouver called White Rock.
I know White Rock well.
Yeah. So as a wee child, I played at the shore of White Rock, and but then we moved to Ontario, and then I moved out of the country when I was 14, and then I moved back to Ontario, and then I moved out of the country again, and then I moved back to British Columbia. So it's like whenever people say like, "Where are you from in Canada?" I'm like, you mean like where was I born?
Yeah, all over.
Yeah.
It's a Canadian story. I mean, I was born in Calgary, raised just outside of Toronto, and then back to Calgary, then down south to Okotoks. And my parents were originally from the West Coast, so they went back there. So now I've got family on the West Coast, and my grandparents were White Rock and Surrey.
Oh, nice.
You know, so yeah, that's wild. Yeah. So just to give people some context, because it's fascinating what you're up to. I think people's jaws are going to hit the floor. But what is it that you're up to right now? Like, what's your thing?
Yeah, so I have 2 companies essentially, and then I do some side stuff because I'm obviously insane, which we'll get to in a minute. But so I have a primary company called PolarTracks Expeditions, and I've had that for 10 years. I'm the owner and founder, and it is a polar expedition cruise travel agency. So we have a small team, and all we do is sell polar expedition cruises. So when you think of that, specifically, we're talking about Antarctica and the Arctic, the polar regions.
Yeah.
And everyone who works for me, including myself, we're all polar guides. So we've lived and worked on expedition ships. We literally know the industry inside and out. And then we sell the thing that we know and love. And that's kind of like our USP. So it's very cool. I love that company. I love my team. Like, it's just, we all work remotely. Some of my team I've never met in person, you know, but yeah, it's really, really fun. And then a subsidiary of that is a new company that I started called Minimal Impact Cruises. Yeah. And that is like a company that operates charters on a vessel, and it's a brand new vessel that's being built. It's a 36 passenger, super future forward ship called the Captain Arctic. It's powered by wind and solar panels, and it's just the coolest thing. It's like nobody has ever built a ship like this before, and I get to help bring it to the English luxury market.
Oh my God, that's so cool. Yep. I saw a picture of what it must be, the mock-up on your website.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Holy moly.
Yeah,
That's amazing. And what a great thing to do, to be able to show people a world they would never see before, and also
right?
not leave a trail of destruction behind you as you do it.
Exactly, exactly. The whole concept behind the ship is to minimize any carbon output by about 90% in comparison with any other vessel that's operating in the polar regions. And it's
Wow.
like what I love about that project. It's spearheaded by a woman who was a captain on ships in the Arctic and the
Yeah.
Antarctic, and she had this vision of like, how can we do this and not leave a footprint, essentially, right?
So
And
cool.
then she just went out and raised all the money and made it happen and like brought me in to be a partner and whatever. And it's so cool because it's silent, it's vibration free, it's a big ship. It's 70, what is it, 70 meters long. It's like this floating silent kayak with like a luxury interior, and you get to go out and see like polar bears and whales and
Wow.
like glaciers and stuff. It's so cool. And
That's
not feel
that,
like shit about it.
right. That is wild.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite pole? Is that
Um,
a weird
I
thing to ask?
I
It's
don't.
first
No,
time.
it's not. It's not weird. It's not weird. I don't have a favorite pole. I have like experiences that I've had there. I've spent a lot of the last 10 years in these regions, and
Mm,
so I have a lot of favorite experiences that I've had, but I can't say that I like Antarctica more than I like the Arctic. The Arctic is sort of broken up into different sections because there's no specific land mass in the Arctic. It's like
right.
water that's iced over, right? So when we go to the Arctic, we either go to the archipelago of Svalbard, which belongs to Norway, or we go to Greenland, or we used to go to Russia, but Russia's off the charts now.
Yeah.
So it kind of depends. I love Greenland. Like I'm super lunatic about Greenland because it's just incredible and it's so remote. But I can't say that I like it or I love it more than Antarctica. I love it. I love it all. It's amazing.
Penguins? Yay or nay?
Oh my God, penguins all day, every day. They are so cute. Like there's nothing like standing around, 100,000 penguins and just hearing them squawk. Like it's the best. It's the
Oh,
best.
that's so rad. I wonder, I can imagine that you might see more wildlife on these cruises if it's silent, I would think.
Yeah, well, I mean, with the ship, so the new ship, the Captain Arctic, it's only going to be in the Arctic for now. It won't go to
Ah, gotcha.
Antarctica. But yeah, that's the idea, right? Like that there will be less sort of human noise and interference that might
Yeah,
scare away animals, especially marine mammals, right? Like
right.
whales and things that you're going to see swimming around, walruses and things like that. Like I imagine the sightings will be pretty amazing on that ship. But
Totally.
honestly, like I think it's more of the immersive experience, like just
Yeah.
feeling like you're gliding past this like giant iceberg on this like with like a whiskey in your hand. You're like, where am I? Like what is going on?
I have
So cool.
arrived. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Iceberging with the icebergs.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah. Nice, nice. Okay, so let me go back in time a bit. I mean, you
Hmm.
touched on it a little bit. Your nomadic
Hmm.
lifestyle, but I don't know. I've never met a Arctic explorer before. Um,
Well,
like if I'm honest, so like how did you get there from, like, I don't know, wherever you're living, Costa Rica or someplace beautiful, and you end up
yeah.
in the, as an Arctic explorer? Well, how did that happen?
Well, good question. Although I cannot give myself the title of explorer because I'm really just an expedition guide and there's lots of us. But, still, I realize that this line of work is very unusual.
Yeah.
And so the way that it started was like most things in my life, a total accident. I'm one of those people who just says yes to something unless I have a good reason to say no. So I had been traveling a lot. My dad was an airline pilot growing up, so I traveled already just as part of my family. Then we
Yeah.
moved out of the country for the first time when I was 14, went to high school in Costa Rica, and then just kept traveling, kept living abroad, whatever. And in 2005, when I was actually living in Toronto, I went on a trip down the Amazon on a very small expedition ship. It was like 99 passengers, which is considered small in the expedition world.
Mm,
And or small in the cruise world, I should say, not the expedition
sure.
world. And so I met, I always make friends with the expedition staff, whatever. And I made friends with the folks there. And fast forward, so that was 2005. Facebook became a thing in 2006.
Right.
I became like friends, in air
Yeah.
quotes, with all these people on Facebook that I had met. And then like fast forward to 2013, I'm living in Peru. My partner and I had like left with our dog and everything, moved to Peru thinking we're going to be here forever. This is great. No more winters. I'm not a big fan of the cold, funny enough. So, so I'm in
Uh-huh.
Peru, and this guy who was a Zodiac driver, these inflatable rubber boats
Yeah.
on the Amazon trip in 2005 was like, hey, I know you're working for yourself in Peru, and so you don't have to ask for time off. You can just decide if you want to do it yourself. Like, do you want to come down and do this 6-week contract on a ship in Antarctica? And I had been there as like a paying guest on a different ship in Antarctica in 2010, and I loved it.
Wow.
But I didn't think I'd ever go back because it's really stinking expensive,
Right.
like it's not cheap. So the funny thing, and this is a little bit of a sidebar, but I think you'll like it. I was standing at what's known as the Penguin Post Office. Anyone who's listening who's been to Antarctica will know it. It's called Port Lockroy. I was standing
Uh-huh.
at the Penguin Post Office went in 2010, right? So I'm a
Uh-huh.
paid guest on a ship. And I've literally just told my boyfriend, like, this is a once in a lifetime thing. I got to send postcards, whatever. I'm standing outside of the post office next to the flagpole that has the British flag on it.
Yeah.
And I get this, what I can only describe as like a download. Like I feel like something is coming out of the sky and like going into my head. And all I can hear is, you're going to be here again. And I was like, what? Like I almost said it out loud. I was like, what the fuck? What's going on? And I had been separated from my partner at the time because he was doing some other stuff. And so when I got back to the ship, I'm like, I got the weirdest sensation when I was standing by the flagpole that I'm going to be here again. But like, logistically, it doesn't make sense. I'm not going to come back here and work at some base. I'm definitely not going to pay all this money to be back here again. Like, even though I love it, like, I'm not going to come work on a ship. None of this makes any sense,
Right.
And I'm like a
Yeah.
huge introvert. So the idea of working on a ship with a team was like, So I had given it some thought. Anyway,
Yeah.
2013 rolls around and this guy, Ian, is like, hey, you want to come and work on a ship? And I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Thank you, universe.
This is how it happens. And at the time, even though I said I would never work on a ship, at the time I was like, yeah, I'm really tired of running an online business. I need a little break. I would love to go and spend 6 weeks on a ship learning how to drive Zodiacs and like doing nature interpretation for people. Sounds great. And so I signed up, and that just kicked off this whole new world. And 2 years later, I opened up PolarTracks Expeditions, and 12 years later, here I am.
Holy crap. That is so cool. I love that story.
Isn't that wild?
A friend of mine owns a video and photography company called Deep Blue, and he often goes down to Antarctica and takes pictures underwater there.
Nice.
I would imagine for tourism companies and stuff like that, but so beautiful. My God, I've never been.
Yeah. Well, you got to go if you're interested.
Man. Yeah. I want to see penguins. That's it. Yeah. That's so cool. I love that you're one of those people that just connects to the universe and is like, okay, it's, we'll see what happens. And then when it happens, you're just like, yep, there it is.
There it is. Like, did not see that coming, at all.
Plot twist. Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, so let's go back in time to when you were a young girl. Maybe you're 5 years old and you're sitting there thinking to yourself, I'm going to be an Arctic explorer. Or you're like, I'm going to be a firefighter. Like, what were you like as a kid?
I was a super weirdo. I was always like, I'm very introverted, but I'm very social. So like, I'm really, really, I can kind of connect with anyone. And also growing up, like living abroad a lot, kind of like a military brat, you learn how to like connect with people easily and fit into new scenarios very easily.
Yeah.
So I was very, very shy and introverted, but when I like felt safe around people, I was always kind of telling jokes and always kind of telling stories and stuff. That's always been my vibe. And I was very afraid of travel. So when I would travel with my dad, I would kind of just like, I had the kind of dad that like, I couldn't be like nervous around, So I just had to sort of suck it up. And like, he would take me places and I'd be like, I'm cool. Yeah, it's all good. Like I remember once we went to Paris when I was like 13, and he was the captain. So he's like, I got to sleep because I'm going to like be flying the plane tomorrow. So like, I got to sleep now. And he's like, here's some like 20, whatever. It wasn't euros because it was pre-euro, but 20 French dollars, whatever they were using. Yeah. Like go out and I'll see you later. And this is like pre-internet, it's like 1989, 1990. I don't know. He's like, go out and come back in 6 hours. And I'd be like, okay, no problem, Dad. And then I would just go out and like shit my pants and be like, oh, I'm in Paris all alone. What do I do?
Wow.
So it was, I was like, shy but curious and like exposed to the outer world, but like very nervous about it. And it was very kind of funny, and it took me a long time to like become really the adventurous person that I am now. Like I had to get over
Wow.
myself a lot, but
Really?
but she was always in there because of the like the curiosity and the desire for storytelling and the ability to connect with people. She was always in there. It just took like forever to get here.
Wow. Well, what's the favorite place you've ever been? Or I maybe don't pick a favorite, but what is one of the favorites?
That's people ask me that all the time. I've been to over 50 countries. I've lived in over seven. Well, this is my seventh, I should say, long
Yeah.
term. I don't have a favorite. I have experiences that I loved. And when people ask me about my favorite country, I immediately start thinking about which food I miss the most.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think most of my experiences that really blew my mind had to do with like being around animals that weren't afraid of me,
Mm,
and being able to sort of like be alone with some animal or like be near an animal that you can't, like, the mountain gorillas in Uganda, or like being in the Galapagos and like snorkeling above like a giant sea turtle who's just like, "What up, lady?" And you're just like
yeah.
floating around together for an hour, like
Love
looking
that.
at each other, that kind of thing where you just like,
Chilling.
you get completely lost and you forget that the world is a dumpster fire and you're like, it's just me and my little homie.
Yeah.
And like, wow, like I am
Yeah.
just a nothing. I'm just an ant in the, that's what actually, and that's what Antarctica does for you, because everything is so huge, right? Like the
Mm,
mountains are so huge, the icebergs are so huge, the glaciers are so huge. You get there and you're like, I am nothing. My problems are nothing. And it's wonderful. Like it's
yeah.
very humbling. It gives you a ton of perspective.
Yeah. I get that when I scuba dive.
Yeah.
There's something about being in a different world that allows you to, add some perspective to the surface dwellers. Like, and I
Yep.
imagine that astronauts feel the same way. I've read that that's a thing.
Yeah. I would imagine so. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm, 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 hmm. Okay, well, let's talk about food for a sec.
Okay.
Uh, Mediterranean. Uh,
Mediterranean is food that I know the least, actually.
okay. Well,
Yeah, I've spent very little time. I just came back from Greece, as I was telling you before we started recording, and I
yeah.
love Greek. I actually love Greek food because I lived in Toronto for a number of years, and so I was going to the Danforth all the time, eating Greek food there.
Uh-huh.
I spent a lot of my life in Latin America, so Latin American food, and like what I like to call squeaky Andean cheese in Peru. These blocks of cheese. It's squeaky because when you like when you bite into it, it
Oh,
kind of has
yeah,
this like squeaky texture.
it's like forfar cheese or whatever
Yeah,
in Ontario. It's poutine cheese, curd,
yeah, kind of like that. Yeah, it
squeaky
sounds
curd.
gross, but it's so
Oh,
delicious. Oh my
yeah,
god!
yeah.
And like any Asian food, I lived in Japan for a while. I love. I don't, not like sushi, not like Japanese food on the street in our lovely home of Canada, but like actual Japanese food. That like when you're there, this is like what mom's gonna serve you. I
Oh
love that.
my god.
So yeah, any I can eat. I eat everything.
All right. Oh, okay. Not shy about that. Yeah. I'm a super picky eater, so it's difficult for me to get over myself to eat the stuff that's
Oh,
local. So there's stuff that I like for
interesting.
sure, but
Yeah.
um, yeah. What's your favorite place to go to in Sweden? Like, do you have like do they have pubs there? Like, what or like fancy
Um,
restaurants?
yeah, we have fancy restaurants. Swedish cuisine is very specific. Like there's always a potato involved.
Okay,
Always. You can't
I'm down
not
for
have
that.
a potato. And
All
there's
right,
always a sauce. You can't have like a piece of chicken without a sauce on it. So it's
all right.
usually a potato, some kind of a protein and a sauce.
Hmm.
Um, Swedish food is nice. I prefer Swedish food that we eat on like special days like midsummer or Christmas or whatever. Then we have pickled herring or we have like a ham or that
Uh,
kind of thing.
yeah.
I know a lot of people don't like it, but pickled herring, I love it. It's
Hmm.
fantastic. But to go to like a Swedish restaurant is not as common. I live near Gothenburg. It's a pretty big city, and we don't
Yeah.
go like, let's go out for Swedish food because that's what you eat at home.
Yeah, that's fair.
so, so we do have pubs. Absolutely. They're usually like British pubs. We have a lot of really cool bars, coffee houses, that kind of thing. The culture in Gothenburg is very similar to like what Melbourne and Australia is
Okay.
famous for. It's like very walkable, very coffee
Yeah.
culture, that kind of vibe. And usually when I go out to eat, it's ethnic food because prior to living in where I live now, where I've lived
Yeah.
for 2 years, I lived in butt fuck nowhere in the countryside. And like I had to drive like an hour to get anything that wasn't a potato with a hunk of chicken on the side.
Yeah, okay. Oh my God. Have you ever hung out on a volcano?
Yeah, absolutely. In Costa Rica when I was a teenager.
Uh, that was such a random question. I didn't expect a
Yeah.
yes.
And also in Iceland, because I'm half Icelandic. And so when I go and visit my cousins there, we usually hike like dormant volcanic cones and pick wild blueberries and stuff. So,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah. I was like, I
Wow.
know I've been on volcanoes, but oh, yeah, those places.
Yeah, those places. Oh, that's wild. Oh my, what is the craziest thing you've ever done?
Get married. What was I thinking?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Other than that, maybe throwing myself out of a plane. That was probably not the smartest thing, but people do it all the time. And I mean, I'm not dead, so
Yeah.
whatever.
Have you done it more than once?
No.
Okay.
Right when I finished, I was like, oh, I want to do that again. Literally, as soon as I landed, I wanted to go up on a second thing. But then I was like, no, Heather, it's just adrenaline. Calm down, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I did. And actually, on the first dive, I did one of these static line jumps. So I wasn't attached to someone else.
Oh, my God.
Like, first time I've ever skydove, and this is what I choose. Freaking lunatic. So I'm like... What was I thinking? But the static line ripped, and then I started falling, and my parachute was supposed to open by itself, right?
Yeah.
And it didn't. So I was falling for a while with it only half open, and like the people on the ground were like talking to me through this one-way radio, and I couldn't talk back to them. They're like, you need to like, don't forget scissor kick, because they teach you what to do if this happens, right? And I'm like, I am scissor kicking, like and you're supposed to like reach up and try to untangle the wires above you. So
what the fuck?
That was my first jump. Everything worked out in the end, obviously, but yeah, I landed after that, and I was like, I want to do it again. That was really cool.
So a friend of mine, and a guy who's going to be on the show here at some point, he's just booking his time. He's I don't know. He said he did something like 138, 148 jumps this year. He's like the top trainer guy, but he's a squirrel suit dude. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like he does the wingsuit thing.
No, and that's like, no. Some things are just automatic no. No, I do not have the balls to do that kind of stuff. Yeah. I'll leave it to the dudes.
he was telling me, he's like, so next summer I'll throw you out of a plane, because I'm just like, I've never done it before. And I'm just like, okay, yes, Robert Schmidt.
Oh my God!
I will do it.
You do know it's okay to say no, don't you? You can say
have
no.
You? Well, you don't know me that well. I have a hard time saying no to stuff. I tend to be like, oh, yep, this is an opportunity to do something different. Let's do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, then you can say you've done it, right? And it's always fun to try something once. I did hear last week when I was with a bunch of my friends that there's only two things that we're innately terrified of, like when we're born, and that's heights and loud noises, which makes sense because as a baby, you don't want to fall, and loud noises could mean death, right? So it's like built into our systems. And I'm like, that tracks, because I'll tell you, when you start climbing out of an airplane, you're like, I am a complete moron. What
what was I thinking?
Here?
Yeah. So I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'll keep you in the loop.
Please do. Send pics.
Hey, Heather.
Like abject terror.
Right. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. So jumped out of an airplane. That's really cool. Have you ever gone scuba diving?
Yes. I learned how to scuba dive when I was living in South Africa, and it was very cool.
South Africa, man, you have been around.
Yeah.
Holy crap. What's the coolest thing you've seen underwater?
7-gill cow sharks. Well, no, that's not true. They're very spooky. They have really slow metabolism during the day because they hunt at night. So we were like in a kelp forest, and there was this family of 7-gill cow sharks that was just like cruising past us, like these massive sharks, and some of them had like fish hooks in their mouths and stuff. And my teacher, Jacques, it was just the two of us because nobody else signed up for that class. So I basically got like private lessons with this dude. And then he's like, let's just go dive. So we were just going on these random dives that he wanted to do once I had like a basic skill set, which was so fun. Yeah. So the sharks were really, really cool. But the coolest thing that I actually saw is when we went on a dive next to Seal Island. It's a very popular, very famous kind of outcropping just off the shore there in near Cape Town. And so we were in a little dinghy, and we went down, and it's not very deep, but it's all kelp forest. And so you have all of these these seals like swimming all around you, like shooting
Oh
past you,
my
and like
god.
looking at you, and it's really cool. But then, so I'm just surrounded by these guys and we're going through the kelp. And then all of a sudden we come into this kind of like a clearing in the kelp. And when you think of like a kelp forest, it's literally
Mhm.
like a forest, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
for people who haven't dove before, it's like these tall trees with these like seaweedy tops that sway
yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's so cool. So we're going through the forest and whatever. And we get to like a literal clearing. It's just this like round space where there's nothing growing, and
Yeah.
in the middle of it, and I am not like, I didn't have a camera so I couldn't take a picture, but this is the truest truth, there was like this giant orb rotating in the middle of this clearing, like above the seabed,
Oh, I know what
that
this
was,
is.
it was all like these sort of whitish translucent jellyfish.
Oh, I
And there was
did not see
just,
that coming.
yeah, no, it was this it was all these like tiny like jellyfish the size of my hand, not super
Yeah.
big ones, but there was like thousands of them, and they were just
Wow.
all in this giant orb, just all moving like they were one creature. And I was like, what? Like, did someone spike my air? What is happening? Like, that's the coolest thing I've seen underwater.
Damn. That's
Yeah,
awesome. Holy
yeah.
crap. Um, yeah, yeah.
What did
Scuba
you think
diving's
it was? What did you think it
well,
was?
I thought it was gonna be like one of those balls of fish that like
Oh
it's like
yeah,
yeah, and there's little silverfish or whatever, and
yeah,
sometimes the dolphins will circle them so they turn into a ball so they can then just go chomp them.
yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah, but I did jellyfish I didn't see coming. Yeah, it's a
You and me
surprise.
both.
Yeah, no doubt. I once watched the sunset off Vancouver Island upside down at 15 feet as we did our decompression stop,
Oh,
and
that's
that was yeah, it
amazing.
was incredible, and just
Oh.
surrounded by wildlife under there as well. It was so
It must
cool.
be absolutely incredible diving off the island.
Yeah, I mean it is some of the best diving anywhere in the world that
I'm
I've been,
sure. I'm sure. I would have
and
never done scuba diving in cold water if actually it was a Swedish woman of all people, this random Swedish woman I met who like just meet in passing, and she was like, "You're here for 6 months. If you don't learn how to scuba dive here, you're insane. Like, go do it." I was like, "Okay."
yeah,
So I just, I'm like, I don't like cold water. I don't like the cold, but it wasn't
yeah,
actually that cold, whatever. But I completely gained a new respect for cold water anything, and a new respect for what's under the water,
I
because you
know,
look at the dark blue and you're like, no, there's probably like a fish, right? No,
yeah,
no, no, no. It is
oh yeah.
magical.
Yeah. We dove off a place called Singing Sands in Comox. So it's in the Strait of Georgia, right? But
Yeah,
sort of on the east side of the island,
yeah,
facing Vancouver.
yeah,
And there's all these guys fishing, right?
yeah.
And so shore fishing. And I'm trudging down with this other girl named Amber, and they're just like, you're gonna scare the fish, and we're just like, whatever, we got our dive flag and shit like that, and we end up going under the water, and just like you said, we got down maybe 10 feet
Mhm.
and everything opened up. There's like 5-6 foot long lingcod that are there. There's like just fish galore, and we get down to the bottom 80 foot. It's a scuttled concrete hulled sailboat
Mm.
that's packed with giant Pacific octopus.
No
Oh
way.
yeah, like it's just den after den, and we're
Oh,
sitting there like shining our flashlight at the octopus, and they're
yeah,
coming out and doing their thing, and we
yeah.
look around us and we're surrounded by rock cod. Like there's huge, like big fins on their head, big bottom
No,
lips, and they're just like so curious, right?
that is
And
amazing.
so we go watch the sunset while we decompress,
Mhm.
and we come out of the water, and these guys are just like, you scared away all the fish, nothing's biting. We're just like, dude, like you would not believe what's there. You're clearly using the wrong bait, because holy crap,
No
that's so much
kidding.
stuff. Yeah.
That's incredible. Now I got to go dive there. I haven't dove in a long time, but
uh,
I would love to see that.
let me know. I know the places to go.
Cool, cool.
Yeah, so wild. Oh my god. Okay, so I think I already know the answer to this question, but I have asked it quite a bit. How important do you think it is for humanity to travel beyond their comfort or their traditional borders?
Depends on what your priorities are, but I think if well, you asked the question how important it is for humanity. I think it's critical, because we can't understand what we don't know. We can't understand what we don't touch and we don't interact with, right?
Yeah,
And that includes humans who live in different ways and who speak different languages and who, the whole nine yards.
yeah,
I think in my case, obviously travel from a young age absolutely shaped who I was. And once I left my home country, my hometown, I mean, I spent a lot of time as a kid growing up in like little hillbilly villages in
Right.
Canada. You know, we moved around a lot in Canada as well. I just I couldn't put that knowledge back in a box and hide it in my brain. You know, it just became like a part of like who I
Right.
am. And yeah, I think it's critical. And I think it's a real shame that more people don't travel, more people who have the means to. Obviously, there's lots of people who can't.
Yeah.
And that's totally understandable. But if you can, my God, like just try it once and then try it again and then try it again and push your boundaries and be uncomfortable. And what you'll get to see out in the world will absolutely make you a better human. 100%, you
I
know?
love that.
Yeah.
Such a great answer. Listen to the, come on, humans, get out there, explore. What's one thing that you haven't done yet that you need to do before you shuffle off this mortal coil?
I wouldn't say there's anything I need to do. There's some interesting places that I'd like to see, but I also feel like I feel very spoiled in that I've seen and done so much that if I literally croaked tomorrow, I'd be like, well, it was great. You know, like
Had a good run.
I had such a good run. I got nothing to complain about.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think there's anywhere that I would want to see. Do you know, I think if anything, it would be more of a feeling that I want to impart. I really
Mhm.
want for the people that I love to feel a sense of ease in their life. And if there's some way that I can be a facilitator for that, then that's what I would want before I die.
I love it. Wow. Um, well, let me segue over to this question then. What is the one thing that you wish that people knew? Like you're walking around thinking to yourself, "Oh, Heather, I just wish the world knew this one thing." What would that be?
Hmm. It's actually, there's not one thing, there's two.
You can have as many as you want. I
Okay.
just threw up some guardrails for.
Okay. One, and this is going to sound very kind of ridiculous and just like live, laugh, love kind of bullshitty, but
I
whatever.
I love it already.
The one thing is that, like, really, truly, kindness is everything. I think kindness, like not being nice, I mean, being a truly kind person or
Yeah.
behaving in a kind way is just fundamental to everything that is good.
Yeah.
And I would love to see more kindness in the world, not just outward, but to ourselves.
Nice.
And then the second piece is more about the way that we interact with the world. And I think that it's absolutely critical that people go out and touch grass. I spend so much time in the forest with my dog. We have amazing, like, magical Swedish forests here.
Ah.
And every time I feel like a sack of shit, I'm like, dude, we're going to the forest, you know, and I load my dog in the car, or like we have forests right by my house. I can walk to 2 nature reserves. So we just immediately go and like stand in the moss, look for berries, look for mushrooms, stare at birds, like
Mhm.
marvel at weird formations in trees, like play in a babbling brook, like literally like children. I
Yeah.
swear to God, there is something so medicinal about doing that. There's something very primal about doing that. And I wish that more people actually thought of that as like a critical part of their well-being. And if it's not a forest that you're nearby, doesn't matter. Go whatever, it doesn't matter. Just go touch some nature and do it on a regular basis and do it like be present. Don't just go like, well, I went to the park. Like go to the park, be in the
checked
park.
it checked off my list.
Look at the grass, stare at the birds, be quiet, turn off your podcast, you know, like listen. And
Hmm.
yeah, just I think that's just a critical piece that I wish more people would do.
Well, that's lovely. I was going to ask, and I think maybe you just answered it. Like, what do you do to, fill your bucket back up? And it sounds like maybe that's the answer. But is there another piece of that puzzle?
Nope. It's
No.
really that's pretty much it. I go to the
Yeah.
forest. Well, or just be creative, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the other thing. I really think being creative is an important thing. And that can mean anything. That can literally mean like making pancakes and putting a face on
Right. Oh man,
it.
I used to love making my kids pancakes with ears on them.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, I saw this guy do like pancake art, and I was just like, why didn't I think of that? He's got like this little drawing thing that he puts his. Have you ever seen that?
No, but it sounds really cool.
Yeah, he just draws with pancake batter,
Oh,
and I was just like, that's the most rad thing I've seen.
see,
Well,
like
that's
being creative for the sake of being creative, not even necessarily because you're like I don't have kids. I'm
yeah,
47. I have a dog.
yeah,
Like I'll just be creative for because it delights me. You
yeah.
know.
Good. Oh, I
Hmm.
love it. Oh my god, I could talk to you forever.
Maybe there's a part deux.
I believe there is a part to do, especially once you do your first experience on that ship.
Yeah, on the new ship for sure.
Oh my god, where can people find you?
They can find me on Instagram. I'm
Mhm.
Heather Thorkelson, just straight up.
Yep.
They can also find me at PolarTracks Expeditions. So if anyone listening wants to go to Antarctica or go see some
Hmm.
polar bears in the Arctic, my team can hook you up.
Nice.
And then minimalimpactcruises.com is the website for the brand new, fancy, super awesome ship that's hopefully going to change the way that we travel in the polar regions.
Oh my god, I love it. I can't wait. Yeah, I'm gonna save up my pennies, I guess.
Yeah.
So there's these people in the world, Heather. We call them rebels in waiting, and
Mm,
these are the people that maybe have decided to do the. Maybe they just said yes to the most insane thing, or but they don't know how they're going to do it yet, or they've
mhm,
wily coyoted their way off the ledge, and they've
mhm,
just looked down. And they've got the uh-oh sign.
mhm.
What advice do you have for these rebels in waiting to help them get to where they're going?
Don't worry about the how you're going to get there. Just worry about whether or not this is something that lights you up. If it lights you up, say
Hmm.
yes. And your only job is to figure out then how you get from where you are now to the thing that you're going for. The whole point of being a rebel or an entrepreneur or whatever is to wake up every morning and find answers to the questions. That's it, you know? So
Uh,
don't be afraid. And also, one other piece, which I think is really important, is don't stick around when you know that something isn't working out anymore. It's okay to pivot. It's okay to let go of time and effort and money that you've put in, sunk
mhm.
costs. If you're really not feeling it, if you're not moving in a direction where you think you can thrive, chuck it, pivot, go somewhere else. Like that is my whole entire life. And, it's been
It's
okay so far.
working out pretty good.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Heather, this has been so much damn fun. I can't thank you enough for taking the time with us today.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Michael. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode. Hey, if you're an artist, scientist, entrepreneur, or business owner who wants a smooth and proven method to find, shape, and share your story with the world, head on over to brandjitsu.com and order a copy of my book, Brand Jitsu, Move Your Brand from Meh to Memorable. I've been your host, Michael Dargie, and this has been the Rebel Rebel Podcast. It's a podcast for creative rebels and entrepreneurs all over the world. And hey, if you're a rebel or you know a rebel, head on over to the rebelrebelpodcast.com and fill out the guest request form. Thanks so much for listening. Until next time.